Welcome to Toxins Unmasked, the ultimate detox and toxins workshop. I'm your host, Becca Kyle. So, toxins are everywhere. In today's world, dodging harmful substances is about as easy as dodging a sneeze in a crowded elevator. Thanks to all the chemicals used in farming, construction, and pretty much everything else, we're practically marinating in toxins. Our water, air, and food are compromised. Then we add toxins from pathogens like mold and water damaged buildings, and our bodies can simply get overloaded. Toxins are in the air, personal care products, food, and more, and it's impossible to 100% avoid them. But the human body is like a superhero squad, armed and ready to kick those nasty toxins to the curb. Our liver, kidneys, and gastrointestinal system, well, they team up like the Avengers, working tirelessly to boot out any unwelcome guests. So we might be living in toxic soup, but at least our bodies are equipped with their own cleanup crew. Now, sometimes due to genetics, nutrient deficiencies, and overburdened detox systems, toxins can affect nearly every system in your body. So it's important to minimize exposure and support your body's natural detoxification processes. So I'm Becca. I help women who feel exhausted, overwhelmed, and disconnected from their bodies reclaim vibrant health and finally enjoy the lives they work so hard to create. I specialize in guiding clients out of system overload and into true healing by addressing the root causes of chronic issues, not just masking symptoms. With deep expertise in the interconnectedness of the nervous system, hormones, digestion, genetics, energy, sleep, and mood, I teach my clients how to reverse long-standing symptoms by targeting key imbalances like toxic load, hidden pathogens, stress, digestive dysfunction, and nutrient deficiencies. My work is fueled by personal experience. I know firsthand what it's like to feel like a medical mystery, to face infertility, PCOS, burnout, and postpartum depression, IBS, anxiety, insomnia, and even chronic Lyme disease, and be told there are no answers. After years of frustration and dismissal, I took my health back into my own hands and everything changed. That led me to go back to school in my 30s to become a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. And now at 46, I'm not only thriving, but deeply present in my life and purpose. My passion is rooted in truth. When women heal, families, communities, and the world gets better. And while I primarily work with midlife women, I also support men and children on their health journeys because I believe that healing is for everyone. So let's dive in. Toxins can hijack the stress response, hormones, and the gut. So they can have a negative effect on the nervous system, stress response, hormones, and gut health. This is how toxins can damage or kill neurons and glial cells, leading to impaired nervous system function. They can disrupt communication between nerve cells by interfering with neurotransmitter release or blocking ion channels. And this impacts how signals are sent and received. Toxins can cause brain inflammation and increase oxidative stress, harming brain cell health and function. Exposure can also result in symptoms like memory loss, difficulty concentrating, loss of coordination, tremors, or even seizures. Now, some toxins can also cross the blood-brain barrier, making the brain especially vulnerable to their effects. Chronic exposure can contribute to neurodegenerative diseases such as dementia or peripheral neuropathy. And certain toxins are linked to developmental delays and learning problems, especially in children. Now, hormones is another category we have to be really aware of. Toxins can mimic or block natural hormones by binding to hormone receptors, disrupting normal signaling, and this can interfere with hormone production, leading to imbalances in estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, thyroid hormones, and even insulin. Toxins can disrupt the detoxification and removal of hormones, especially estrogen, causing estrogen dominance. Now, exposure to toxins is linked to reproductive health issues such as irregular cycles, infertility, and reduced sperm quality. Certain toxins can even alter fat storage and metabolism, contributing to weight gain and metabolic disorders. So, if you're dealing with stubborn weight, it might not be your fault or something that you know about. Toxins can induce oxidative stress and DNA damage, further affecting hormone balance and cellular health. And hormonal imbalances from toxins can impact mood, cognition, sleep, and libido. Heavy metals specifically can impair the liver and pathways needed to metabolize and detoxify hormones, leading to further disruptions. Let's talk about the gut. Disrupting gut flora. Toxins can kill beneficial bacteria in your gut, disrupting the balance of your microbiome. This can lead to digestive issues, weakened immunity, and other health problems. Toxins can increase gut permeability. So certain toxins can damage the lining of the gut, making it more permeable. This condition, known as leaky gut or intestinal permeability, it allows undigested food particles, toxins, and bacteria to pass through the bloodstream, triggering inflammation and immune responses. Now, toxins can cause inflammation in the gut, leading to conditions such as gastritis, IBS, and inflammatory bowel disease. Impaired digestion and absorption is a huge problem. Exposure to toxins can impair the gut's ability to digest and absorb nutrients properly, leading to deficiencies and overall poor health. So it's not you are what you eat. It is you are what you absorb. Toxins can also impact gut motility, causing issues like constipation, diarrhea, or irregular bowel movements. So, your body deals with two main types of toxins, and understanding the difference can help you detox smarter, not harder. So we have external toxins. These are outside of the body. These toxins, these are you're exposed to from your environment or lifestyle, things you breathe in, eat, drink, or absorb through your skin. So this could be heavy metals, pesticides and herbicides, plastics, BPA, phthalates, household chemicals, chemicals in the air, like air pollution, beauty and cleaning products. These toxins enter from the outside, and your liver, kidneys, and lymphatic system have to work to filter and get rid of them. Then we have internal sources of toxins. So these are toxins produced inside the body. Now, these are created by pathogens like mold, bacteria, viruses, or even poor digestion can impact this. So these are examples of mycotoxins. So these are toxins that are released by mold overgrowth in the gut. We can have lipopolysaccharides. These inflammatory toxins are released by bad gut bacteria. We have ammonia and histamine or other byproducts from yeast, parasites, or infections. These toxins are metabolic waste, meaning they're the leftovers or defense chemicals from invaders living inside of you. Now, your immune system and detox organs keep working hard to keep these in check. So think of external toxins like trash being dumped into your house. And internal toxins are like your pets making messes inside the home. Either way, you need a cleanup system, which is detoxification and drainage, but the source of toxins helps determine how you approach your healing process. So we've got the three categories we're going to talk about today are environmental toxins, mycotoxins, and heavy metals. Environmental toxins encompass a broad range of harmful substances and organisms found in our surroundings, including chemicals like pesticides, herbicides, VOCs, and even some heavy metals, as well as biological agents and physical materials that can disrupt biological processes. Now, mycotoxins are secondary metabolites produced by mold. They are found in water damaged buildings and can also contaminate crops and foods and can cause significant disease. But once mold colonizes your gut, it starts making mycotoxins inside your body. So with mycotoxins, we can have an external exposure as well as an internal exposure. Then we have heavy metals, which are naturally occurring elements that have become increasingly prevalent due to industrial and agricultural activities. They can accumulate in the body and disrupt cellular and organ function, leading to a wide range of acute and chronic health effects, including neurological, renal, and carcinogenic outcomes. Now, each category of toxins poses unique risks and requires specific strategies for detection, prevention, and mitigation. There are also other types of toxins made by pathogens like lipopolysaccharides and exotoxins that we just don't have time to get into today, but just know this is not a fully exhaustive list. So first, we're going to dive into environmental toxins. So environmental toxins can include pollutants from air, water, soil, and consumer products. They can have a widespread and detrimental effect on the human body. These toxins impact various organ systems and biological processes, leading to acute and chronic health issues. Environmental toxins are ubiquitous. In 1994, the US released over 2 billion pounds of environmental toxins, which grew to nearly 5 billion pounds in 2002. Now, while the US released 3 billion pounds of chemicals in 2020, this represents a 27% decrease since 2011. Now, this decrease is attributed to about a 34% reduction in air pollution from 2011 to 2020. Now, the EPA inventory contains roughly 84,000 chemical substances that are in commerce. many of which have had limited testing for their effects on humans or the environment. Now, we also have chemicals that are no longer authorized for use in the US, like DDT, but these continue to persist in the environment as persistent organic pollutants. I've had multiple of my clients test positive for DDT metabolites, which is extremely detrimental to health. Now, although the EPA is working to decrease levels, environmental toxins remain a serious problem. Toxin exposures have been associated with several medical conditions and diseases. Now, individual risk varies based on the quantity of toxicant exposure, exposure time, genetic susceptibility, synergistic effects with other toxins, and factors that influence detoxification pathways. Now, common areas of concern include cancer, cardiovascular disease, neurological disorders, immune dysfunction, developmental disorders, negative reproductive effects, hormone imbalances, and a host of relevant symptoms and negative health outcomes. It is believed that most people are dealing with a toxic burden at some level. It's just a matter of how much that toxic burden is contributing to somebody's current symptoms or disease state. Understanding the potential risks associated with environmental toxins allows individuals to be proactive with their health. So here's some symptoms of environmental toxins. I'd love for you to pause this video if you're watching the replay and do some hashtags or count how many of these symptoms do you have? Everything from fatigue to a loss of balance, poor memory, tingling, skin rashes, headache, autoimmune issues, reproductive dysfunction. This list is long. And so I'd be really curious to see how many of these you have. Next on the list is mycotoxins. So mold is the living organism, and mycotoxins are the non-living toxins or chemicals that are produced by the mold. Now, molds that produce mycotoxins can grow on foods like cereals, coffee, dried fruit, nuts, or spices, or on water-damaged building materials. Mold growth on food can occur before, after harvest, during storage, or on the food itself, often under warm, damp, and humid conditions. Now, oral exposure to mycotoxins occurs either by directly eating the food or indirectly from animals consuming contaminated feed. So, like if you were to drink milk, like cow milk. Now, most mycotoxins are chemically stable and survive food processing. And then another major route of exposure, this is what I primarily see in my client work, can occur through inhalation of airborne mycotoxins from water damaged buildings. So this could be your home, previous home, office, gym, your car. Now, when water damage occurs to the building's material, such as drywall, which is largely carbohydrate based, they become a prime destination for mold spores to colonize. Water damaged buildings have high levels of bioaerosols, which can be a mixture of mycotoxins, gram-negative bacteria, lipopolysaccharides, and VOCs, mold spores, beta-glucans, and more. It's also common to find in HVAC systems, which then spreads mold and mycotoxins all throughout the home. I would say 50% of my mold illness clients found it in their HVAC systems. Now, please note that a building does not have to be water damaged to host mold. So it doesn't have to have a flood. It doesn't have to have a pipe burst. It doesn't have to necessarily have a roof leak. All it takes is a bit of dampness, humidity, and organic matter such as dust, and mold can grow. Bathrooms, laundry rooms, kitchens, carpet, and windows all tend to be common culprits, as well as that HVAC system. Also remember, mold does not have to be visible to be present. So when mold spores are inhaled, they can cause mold growth in the sinuses and GI tract. In these situations, the body becomes its own source of mold exposure as the mold proliferates and produces mycotoxins inside your body. So, mold illness largely occurs due to the accumulation of excess mycotoxins, which are highly toxic to all cells and tissues of the body. Mycotoxins, which translates to fungi poison, are so toxic that they have been studied and used for biological warfare. These substances are ionospheric, which means they are both lipophilic and hydrophilic and can readily pass through the tissues of the body, causing widespread harmful toxic effects and chronic inflammation. Mycotoxin illness, known as mycotoxicosis, can range from mild and reversible, like athlete's foot to irreversible organ damage and life-threatening, depending on the specific mycotoxin, the health of the individual, exposure levels, time course of exposure, mycotoxin interactions, and other circumstances. Now, growing evidence indicates that mycotoxins can exacerbate conditions of immune dysregulation, such as Hashimoto's, connective tissue disorders, celiac disease, and other autoimmune conditions, especially in those who have a pre-existing immune dysregulation. Furthermore, ongoing investigation associates there's associations between mycotoxin burden and neurological issues such as Parkinson's disease, ALS, and other neurological or neuropsychiatric conditions. So, what are some mycotoxin symptoms? Well, we've got a lot of symptoms going on here. So, I encourage you, if you're watching the replay of this, pause this and see how many of these you have. Now, as we go through the symptoms that are part of each subset of toxin, you might find some similarities. So, like fatigue is one that's on all of them, right? Chronic pain can be a part of all of them. And so I encourage you to see how many of these symptoms you are dealing with. Now it's time to talk about heavy metals. So heavy metals are really an underrepresented as a root cause of illness and diseases in humans. It's actually thought to impact over 1 million individuals. Annually and can affect virtually all biological systems in the human body. Heavy metals may be the root cause of common neurological disorders, gastrointestinal disorders, autoimmune disease, and disorders associated with the increased oxidative stress and cellular dysfunction. Now, heavy metals can have a significant and often detrimental impact on the human body. Their effects can be wide range and severe, depending on the specific metal, level of exposure, and individual factors. Studies show that toxic metals contribute to brain diseases by producing oxidative stress, and aluminum is actually one of the worst offenders. Toxic metals may also replace other substances in tissue structures. So these tissues such as the arteries, joints, bones, and muscles, they're weakened by this replacement process. Toxic metals may also simply deposit in many sites, causing local irritation and other toxic effects. Studies show that the toxic oxidative state of heavy metals in the body can lead to infertility, for example. Now, the most common heavy metals I see in people are arsenic, lead, aluminum, and mercury, with mercury being the second most toxic substance in the US. Mercury can be commonly found in dental fillings and even seafood. Lead can be found in residuals from gasoline, lead paint, and lead pipes in older homes. Aluminum impairs your body's ability to excrete mercury by impeding your glutathione production. Glutathione is your body's master antioxidant. And it's really important for intracellular detoxification. It's required for reversing oxidative stress. So if your aluminum load is high, your body can potentially become more toxic from the mercury, say from fish, because you're now on aluminum overload and your detoxification systems no longer function the way they're supposed to. Now, exposure to aluminum presents both acute and chronic health risks. Acute effects can include respiratory irritation, coughing, and headache. Prolonged exposure can include neurotoxicity, resulting in symptoms such as memory loss, confusion, and muscle weakness. Now, aluminum exposure has also been associated with various neurological disorders, including Alzheimer's. Chronic ingestion or inhalation of aluminum may contribute to bone diseases such as osteoporosis and has been implicated in renal dysfunction. Many heavy metals, particularly lead and mercury, can severely affect the central and peripheral nervous systems. This can lead to cognitive impairments, memory loss, and coordination problems. Heavy metals can actually also accumulate in vital organs like the liver, kidneys, and heart, leading to organ dysfunction or failure over time. Cadmium, for example, is known to cause kidney damage. Some heavy metals, such as arsenic and chromium, are actually classified as carcinogens, and long-term exposure can increase the risk of various cancers. Certain heavy metals can interfere with reproductive functions in both men and women. This can lead to reduced fertility, birth defects, or developmental problems in children. Some heavy metals can also interfere with the endocrine system, just affecting hormone production and regulation. Now, metals like lead can actually replace calcium in bones, leading to weakened bone structure and dental problems. And certain heavy metals can also cause skin irritation, rashes, and more. So, we do not want to have any of these heavy metals in our body. So I want to present to you a couple of case studies. Now, these are lab results from my actual clients. So the main complaints of this person was Parkinson's, cancer, fatigue, and memory. And we had a combination here of metals, of environmental toxins, and mycotoxins. This person's main complaints were infertility, insomnia, stubborn weight. And we had a variety of toxins here as well, from metals to environmental toxins as well as mycotoxins. This person's main complaints were infertility, insomnia, and high cortisol. So you might look at this and think, well, there's only three red ones and the rest are yellow. Well, think of each red one as like holding up a 10-pound weight over your head. So that's 30 pounds. How long can you hold on that over your head? Maybe a little while. But then each of these yellows represents a 5-pound weight. And you add five, then five, then five, then five, then five over and over. And at some point, that weight is going to come crashing down on your head, causing damage to your body. This person's main complaints were infertility, insomnia, fatigue, anxiety, and irritability. And so we also had a combination here. So you're seeing like some similarities here. It's like everybody that has these chronic symptoms is really dealing with a lot of toxins in their systems. I have yet to test somebody who didn't have toxins in their body. This person's main complaints were infertility, blood pressure issues, hypothyroid, and stubborn weight. Look at all the toxins that showed up in this person's body. This person was complaining of gut issues, gout, and Parkinson's. Again, lots of different, a variety of toxins, from environmental toxins to mycotoxins to metals. This person's main complaints were gut issues, fatigue, infertility, and anxiety. Oh my gosh, look at how many this person is dealing with. And this person was dealing with infertility, hypothyroid, insomnia, and skin issues. You may see a lot of infertility. It's because I consult for a fertility clinic. And so I test a lot of these women who are in their 40s who can't get pregnant. And now we know partially one of the reasons, multiple of the reasons why. This person's main complaints was PCOS, eczema, chronic pain, insomnia, and memory issues. So we've seen that most people have some level of toxins in their body. If you have any chronic symptoms, you likely have toxins in your body. So now what? What do we do about it? Well, step one is to identify exposure. Step two is reduce exposure. Step three is to support drainage pathways. Step four is to support biotransformation and detoxification pathways. So let's dive into these. So first of all, we have to test and don't guess. We have to test for toxins. And you can test your environment with a lab called the ERMI for mycotoxins. You can test your water with mytavscore.com. You can use the Think Dirty app or EWG apps to scan the barcodes of your beauty and household products and see how toxic they are. You can use the EWG's Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 lists to be able to see what are the most produce items where the most pesticides are used on them. So and you can use that to grocery shop. Testing for toxins in the body is important because it provides clear a clear understanding of your personal toxic load. So we have to test the environment and we also have to test the body. And when you understand what's in the body, it helps identify which specific toxins may be impacting your health. Modern life exposes us to a wide range of environmental chemicals, heavy metals, and mycotoxins. Now, these can accumulate over time and overwhelm the body's natural detoxification systems, leading to symptoms like fatigue, digestion issues, neurological problems, immune dysfunction, and hormonal imbalances. So, by testing for toxins, you can detect these harmful substances early, even at low levels, which allows for prompt intervention and targeted detox strategies before these toxins cause significant or chronic health problems. Now, toxin testing also enables you to personalize your detoxification and prevention efforts. You can track your progress over time, address the root causes of symptoms rather than just managing them. And additionally, it can highlight sources of exposure. So if you have a lot of environmental toxins show up, test your water, test your air, test your home. Right? If you have, and especially your beauty products, if you have a bunch of mycotoxins, test your home, test your office, test your car. So I use a lab called the Vibrant Wellness Total Toxin Burden. It's the best out there, and it's one of my all-time favorite labs. And I'll share more about that at the end of this presentation. So let's dive into drainage versus detox. As far as terms go, these are totally different things. Now, most people have heard the word detox, but I'm finding when I do these workshops is that most people have not heard of drainage. So detox refers to the active removal of toxins from the body, particularly those that have accumulated in tissues and cells over time. Detox often targets heavy metals, environmental toxins, biotoxins, chemicals, and other harmful substances that the body cannot eliminate easily. Detox helps eliminate harmful substances, accumulated toxins that can contribute to chronic inflammation, hormone imbalances, fatigue, and other health problems. A proper detox protocol can help restore optimal cellular and organ function by reducing the toxic load. So, what about drainage? Well, drainage refers to ensuring the body's natural pathways for eliminating waste and toxins are open and functioning well. It involves supporting the organs and systems responsible for waste removal to ensure toxins can flow out of the body efficiently. And the goal is to ensure that waste doesn't accumulate in tissues and cause dysfunction or toxicity in the body. We're going to dive into drainage because this is something that you can absolutely impact with your daily lifestyle. So, drainage is often seen as the preparation step before detox. If drainage pathways are not open, releasing more toxins from cells via detox can overwhelm the body and make symptoms worse. Proper drainage ensures toxins can exit the body rather than getting stuck or recirculated. So if you start a big detox protocol without making sure your drainage pathways are open and working properly, you can feel a lot worse, which I don't think anyone actually wants. Now, your body, as you see here, has a drainage funnel. Understanding this can help you get better faster with less symptoms. So, before you can focus on pathogen killing or detoxing toxins and chemicals out of the body, these drainage pathways need to be open and stay open during your protocols. So, we have the colon, which includes bowel movements. We have the liver and bile ducts, the lymphatic system, and then we have the brain drainage to the lymphatic system, which is called lymphatics. So the brain, this is the part of the brain that's responsible for removing toxins, metabolic waste products, and other harmful substances. And now it works similarly to the lymphatic system in the rest of the body, but operates specifically in the central nervous system, primarily in the brain and spinal cord. Then we have the kidneys, which excrete urine, skin for sweating, and we have cellular detox. So I cannot stress enough if you are going to do any sort of detox protocol, you have to focus on drainage first. In an ideal situation, you are actively supporting drainage for at least a solid 30 days before you start working on detox. Sometimes you might even need more. So, for example, if you're constipated, you're not detoxing. And if you try to do a big detox protocol while you're constipated, it is not going to go well. So let's dive in. So key features of drainage include focusing on the body's natural detox or natural drainage waste elimination pathways. And when we do that, we are involving the lymphatic system, liver, kidneys, gallbladder, colon, skin, and lungs. And the whole purpose is this: it supports the body in mobilizing and transporting waste out via urine, feces, sweat, and the lymphatic circulation. The goal is to make sure the body's waste systems are open and flowing before introducing more intensive detox protocols. So here's some of my favorite methods to support drainage. We have staying hydrated, supporting the liver and kidney with herbs. We have lymphatic techniques like dry brushing, rebounding, gua sha, massage, and vibration plates. I hang out on my vibration plate every day for at least 15 minutes. We have exercise. Movement is so important. And then, of course, supporting bowel regularity. I also love castor oil packs to support liver function. I try to do mine about 3 times a week. And then, of course, you can do sauna to help sweat out toxins. Now, a word to the wise here. If you go break a big sweat, you have to get that sweat off your skin as soon as possible. Either use a wet towel or showering would be ideal because if that sweat dries on your skin, you're just reabsorbing all those toxins you just got out of your body. So we are going to dive into the drainage system, starting with the colon. So the most important part of the funnel is at the bottom. This is the colon. If the colon is backed up, then everything above gets backed up. The large intestine or colon is at the bottom of the drainage funnel. If the colon is backed up, everything upstream from it can get backed up as well. This can happen when constipated. So constipation is like a waste processing plant in the city that doesn't empty its tanks. Similarly, if you're trying to force upstream detox when the outflow isn't moving, issues will pile up. So you need to poop regularly, ideally several times a day. This makes room for waste and toxins that are upstream to flow downward via elimination via stools. Next up, we have the liver and bile ducts. This is a common area actually to have issues with and very critical to keep open. So just above the colon is and the drainage funnel are the liver and bile ducts. The liver is kind of like the reservoirs that collect the wastewater from the entire town. So the liver works to separate the water and the waste, and then the water can be cleaned and sent back to the house for reuse. Now, as for the waste, the liver filters toxins from the blood and then processes them for elimination. These are then deposited into the bile. The bile is released through the common bile duct into the small intestine during digestion. Some of the bile is caught up in stools and eliminated, and that helps lower the toxin level in the body. Now, overall, it's a good system, but sometimes harmful factors disrupt it. Just like the drains in the home can get clogged, so can the bile ducts. As a result, toxins and bile acids can stagnate and accumulate in the liver, potentially damaging the organ. Now, on top of that, stagnation breeds sickness. So if you're not moving toxins out efficiently, these toxins can contribute to chronic illness. Now, several factors can lead to bile duct inflammation, damage, narrowing, and blockages. That can include bacteria, certain drugs, and especially antibiotics, anti-inflammatories, and antidepressants. Excess estrogen, can increase the risk of gallstones, and those can lead to bile duct blockages. Not having a gallbladder. So if you've lost your gallbladder to surgery, and your medical professional has not encouraged you to utilize either ox bile or tugka to support the lack of gallbladder, to support your bile flow, then they have done you a huge disservice here because the lack of gallbladder directly influence bile flow. Parasites can obstruct the bile ducts. Toxins like glyphosate and other chemicals can trigger reduced bile production, and even viruses can impact this. So, where does the toxin-laden bile go if the liver and bile ducts are backed up? If it can't flow through the drainage funnel, it could flow out into tissues and organs instead. Now, this leads to uncomfortable symptoms and may damage other organs. So, when the liver can't push bile into the bowels, a trap door opens to release it into the bloodstream. And the toxic bile acids may end up in other organs, including the kidneys, lungs, and skin. Now, this can damage the lining of the lungs and kidneys, including delicate tubes in the organs. And in the skin, bile acids can trigger pruritus or itching and inflamed skin. This can be in part due to the activation of mast cells, which are immune cells that release histamine and can cause itching. All right, next up we have the lymphatic system. So the next step is the lymphatic system, and it can also really be overlooked and underrated, but it's really, really important. So think of your lymphatic system like your body's sewer and drainage system. Essential, often overlooked, and crucial for keeping things clean. When your lymphatic system isn't flowing well, your body can feel sluggish, puffy, inflamed, and can be more prone to frequent infections, skin issues, or brain fog. It's like the sewer backing up. Things get stuck and your whole system suffers. So just like sewer pipes collect waste from your home and carry it away so it doesn't build up, your lymphatic system collects cellular waste, toxins, excess fluid, and pathogens from your tissues and transports them out of the body. The lymphatic system includes a network of vessels that drains fluid from the body tissues. This system also covers most of the body. Rich lymphatic vessel networks supply the skin and mucosal membranes covering most organs, including the respiratory tract, intestine, diaphragm, heart, lungs, nasal cavities. The recent updates in research also show that the lymphatic vessels play more of an active role in major physiological and pathophysiological processes rather than a passive one. So, blood vessels leak fluid into the tissues several liters a day. Now, one of the lymphatic system's jobs is to collect the fluid and return it to the blood. But first, the lymph nodes filter out bacteria, toxins, and viruses so immune cells can deal with them. Now, unfortunately, the lymph doesn't always flow as much as needed. Unlike the cardiovascular system, the lymph has no pump like the heart pushing it where it needs to go. So it relies on you to keep it flowing. Um, Poor lymphatic movement results in tissue swelling. So if you've ever had this fluid build up in your ankles, you know what this lymph stagnation looks like. Sluggish lymph movement is also linked to increased cellulite, as the lymph can get stuck in the fat tissue, and this is particularly common in women. I have personally noticed that using my vibration plate every day to support my lymphatic system, I personally noticed a reduction in cellulite, which is pretty awesome. Next up, we've got the organs and the tissues. So above the lymphatic system in the drainage funnel are the organs and the tissues. Now, the brain is a key focus here. It doesn't have a true lymphatic system. Instead, it clears cellular waste and fluids from the brain through what's called the glymphatic system. So this is a recently discovered macroscopic waste clearance system that also facilitates brain-wide distribution of several compounds such as glucose, lipids, and amino acids. Now, researchers have also found that this system functions mainly during sleep. This helps enable the elimination of potential neurotoxic waste from the body. So if you aren't sleeping, you aren't detoxing. Now, keeping up with the garbage analogy, the glymphatic network in the brain works like a fleet of garbage trucks collecting the waste in a city. Then the garbage is delivered to the lymphatic system for removal. Now, the caveat here is that waste removal in the brain mainly happens when people sleep. We're going to really concentrate on this. So during the day, the brain is busy processing information, so garbage collection is a low priority. Adequate sleep is the best way to support this part of the drainage funnel. Sleep is like fuel for all those little garbage trucks in the brains. Now, possible signs that the brain isn't draining well could be brain fog, headaches, and memory issues. So make sure you are supporting your brain's lymphatic drainage by getting enough sleep. And then next up, we have the cells. Last but not least, think of the mitochondria as a power switch to this whole drainage funnel. Supporting the mitochondria will give organs the energy they need to properly drain. Now, the cells are at the very top of the drainage funnel. Cells are like the houses in a city. Each home has waste products from tubs, toilets, and trash cans. And these cells have toxins and other waste they need to get rid of too. Now, some of these wastes or toxins the cells accumulate come from external sources, that air pollution, heavy metals, mycotoxins, and pesticides. These toxins can cause mitochondrial dysfunction, so you need to get rid of them. The mitochondria generates the energy needed to support detoxification and energy in general to support your daily life. They play a role in immune defense and DNA repair, so people need them to be working well to support the detox journey and to reduce the risk of disease. However, the solution isn't to push detoxification of contaminants the first day of your detox journey. If all the drainage pathways aren't flowing, ramping up detox isn't wise. So in order for the brain to drain, the lymphatic system has to be draining, the liver and the bile ducts have to be draining, and the colon has to be draining. So what happens otherwise? We have brain fogs, headaches, memory issues, and can all be a symptom of poor brain drainage and drainage funnel issues. And this leads us back to the liver and the bile ducts. When they're backed up, there's that emergency hatch that opens up for toxins. And instead of the liver processing toxins that get dumped into the bile and then into the intestines where it should go, the toxins get dumped into the blood. These go systemic, causing symptoms and other issues. So as you keep the drainage funnel open and moving, you'll feel so much better and your protocols will be easier. So to promote the elimination of toxins, always, always, always start with drainage. If your health is less than optimal, starting with drainage is the right track to detox. As toxins stagnate in the body, they could wreak havoc, clear down to the cellular level, which can lead to dysfunction and disease. Remember that stagnation breeds sickness. So when people have constipation, a clogged and congested liver, sluggish lymph, you're not going to detox well. If any of these areas are stagnant or clogged prior to detoxification, you risk these toxins being reabsorbed into the bloodstream and traveling to other organs. If you nurture all the parts of the drainage funnel, you'll be better equipped for deeper cleansing, which is what we want. So again, upregulating detox or just going hardcore into detox Without first supporting drainage would be like setting out the garbage several days before the neighborhood's trash collection on a hot summer day. The waste would sit and stagnate, stinking up the community. So it's important to lay the right groundwork to start detoxing and healing at the cellular level. That means tackling the drainage funnel from the bottom up, which ultimately impacts the cells. So again, some of my favorite drainage supports are castor oil packs, which can be placed on the skin over the liver to improve circulation and lymphatic flow. And this actually supports your liver's natural detox pathways. Dry brushing is using a dry brush on the skin and gentle strokes upward to stimulate your lymphatic system. Rebounding would be like bouncing up and down on the floor or on a mini trampoline. This is great for supporting lymph flow. Sauna and sweating is great to release toxins through the skin. Just please make sure to towel off or shower off that sweat. Now, my favorite way to support lymphatic drainage is my vibration plate because it just feels good. It's very satisfying and it's kind of awkward and weird to see all your parts jiggling back and forth, but it's pretty fun too. All right, so we also have to make sure we are properly hydrating. So, water is like the delivery and drainage system for your body's detox processes. Without enough of it, everything slows down, kind of like trying to rinse dishes without turning on the faucet. So, here's how hydration supports detox it flushes the waste from organs, it supports lymphatic flow, it keeps digestion moving, and it regulates temperature and sweating. So, proper hydration is key. Now, hydration is not just water. It's water plus minerals. So adding a pinch of rich sea salt or a squeeze of lemon can help your body absorb it more effectively. So in order to get water into your cells, you have to have the proper mineral balance. So now we're going to talk about detox since we've covered drainage. So detox helps eliminate the accumulated toxins that can contribute to chronic inflammation, hormone imbalance, fatigue, and other health problems. And a proper detox protocol can help restore optimal cellular and organ function by reducing the toxic load. So the focus here is breaking down and expelling stored toxins from organs, tissues, and cells. Now, this is done primarily via the liver, kidneys, and colon, but can target many systems in the body, including the brain and fat cells, where toxins can be stored. So I have a lot of clients dealing with stubborn weight. And often it's not that they're eating poorly or not moving their body. So often it's because they're toxic. The safest place in the body to store toxins is fat tissue. That is because the body is trying to sequester it away from your organs. So if you have a high toxic burden, the body's like, nope, we're not going to get rid of that fat because that fat keeps us safe. So the body uses biotransformation, mainly in the liver, to convert fat-soluble toxins into water-soluble forms that can be excreted via urine, bile, and sweat. Now, the goal is to actively remove harmful substances from the body to reduce the toxic burden. So I always have two questions. What is the source of exposure? Is it internal versus external? Is it something in your environment or is it a pathogen in your body? And why is the body holding on to toxins? So genetics, methylation, and nutrient status and stress all play a role. Pathogen load can also hijack detox systems. So your genes can really impact detox capacity. So understanding your genetic predispositions allows you to be super strategic in honoring your genetic blueprint and setting yourself up for success. You may be undermethylating, which can be greatly impacting detox capacity, which we'll get into here in a little bit. Nutrient levels also play a massive role in detoxification, and deficiencies create roadblocks to what your body was made to do, and stress is also a huge factor. So, how does stress hijack detox? Well, stress puts you into fight or flight mode. And when you are stressed, your body shifts into sympathetic nervous system dominance, the fight or flight state. In this mode, your body shuts down digestion, slows detox, prioritizes quick energy for survival. So detox is a rest and repair process, and it mostly happens in the parasympathetic state, which is rest and digest. So we have fight or flight, or really fight, flight, or freeze, and we have rest and digest. You can think of it as stress mode via relaxation mode. So if you're constantly in stress mode, you're not going to be detoxing well. Stress also depletes essential nutrients needed for detox. So chronic stress dramatically uses up key nutrients like magnesium, sodium, potassium, B vitamins, vitamin C, and zinc. These nutrients are critical for liver detox, antioxidant production, and cellular repair. So when stress burns through them, detox suffers. Stress also increases inflammation. So, cortisol, your main stress hormone, is anti inflammatory short term. But chronic stress leads to more inflammation and immune dysfunction. And this creates more internal toxins like cytokines and oxidative stress, which add to your toxic load. Stress can also slow down elimination and cause constipation. Slow bile flow can be a part of this. Disrupting your gut microbiome can be part of this. So if you're not eliminating properly, again, toxins can get reabsorbed. The bottom line is that to detox effectively, your body needs to feel safe. Calming your nervous system is just as important as supporting your liver or drinking water. Detox isn't just about what you take out, it's also about slowing down and giving your body permission to let go. So you may have heard the word methylation, or this might be a new word for you. What is methylation? It is a critical biochemical process that affects many aspects of health, including gene regulation, detoxification, mental health, and cardiovascular function. Methylation helps regulate gene expression by adding or removing methyl groups from DNA. And when a methyl group is added to certain regions of DNA, it can turn genes off, preventing them from being expressed. Now, this process is essential for controlling which genes are active in which different cells. Methylation also plays a role in DNA repair, helping cells maintain genetic integrity. It's crucial for detoxifying harmful substances. It helps the liver process toxins, heavy metals, and environmental chemicals, aiding in their removal from the body. Now, proper nutrient intake, especially B vitamins, is essential to supporting optimal methylation pathways and preventing imbalances that can lead to health issues. B vitamins, especially B12, folate, B2, and B6, play a huge role in the methylation process. Choline also supports methylation pathways, especially when folate levels are low. Trimethylglycine, or TMG, helps donate methyl groups and supports homocysteine conversion. SAMe is a key compound in the body that plays a central role in the methylation cycle. It's often referred to as the body's primary methyl donor, meaning it provides the methyl groups necessary for a variety of biochemical reactions. L-methionine is an essential amino acid with a central role in cellular methylation processes, primarily through its function as a precursor to SAMe. And methylation helps regulate that gene expression again by adding or removing methyl groups from the DNA. So when a methyl group is added to certain regions of that DNA, it can turn those genes off or on, right? And so think of it like flipping a light switch on or off. You cannot change your genes. Your genes are your genes are your genes, but you can change how they express in the body by supporting stress, supporting nutrients, making sure your methylation is working properly. So genetic variants, you've probably heard of MTHFR, which has to do with a folate conversion, SLC, which has to do with folate transportation, MTRR, which has to do with B12, and PEMT, which has to do with choline, can affect methylation capacity by reducing the body's ability to process and convert dietary forms of nutrients into usable forms for the cells, as well as transport those nutrients into cells. So you may also be low in these nutrients due to digestion or absorption issues, or perhaps you have pathogen overgrowth in the gut that loves to nosh up your B vitamins before your body can utilize them. Pathogens can also hijack detox. One of my favorite markers on any of the labs I utilize is called beta-glucuronidase. So beta-glucuronidase is an enzyme produced by both human cells and certain gut bacteria. Its primary function in detoxification is to break down glucuronides, compounds formed when the liver attaches glucuronic acid to substances like hormones, drugs, and toxins through a process called glucuronidation. Now, this process makes those substances more water soluble and ready for excretion via urine and bile. But what happens when beta glucuronidase is high? So when beta glucuronidase is high, the enzyme becomes overactive and actually reverses the liver's detoxification processes. Specifically, it removes that glucuronic acid from the conjugated compounds, such as toxins and hormones in the gut. This deconjugation reactivates these substances, allowing them to be reabsorbed into the bloodstream rather than be excreted. So think about it like your liver trying to dump out a bucket of toxins and somebody dumps half that bucket right back in. You're recycling toxins as well as toxic estrogen. For my female clients that have horrific menstrual cycles, this is one of the primary reasons I see on functional lab work. We get the beta glucuronidase levels down, And guess what? Their menstrual cycles return to normal. And so why might beta glucuronidase be high? Well, it's produced by pathogens in the gut. So eradicating pathogens is important for detoxification. We don't want to be recycling toxins. Now, nutrients and minerals are also really necessary. Antioxidants neutralize toxins like vitamin C, vitamin E, and phytonutrients. These help neutralize free radicals and oxidative stress caused by toxins, reducing the damage they can do to your cells. Nutrients support liver function. Compounds from cruciferous veggies like broccoli and kale can support phase one and phase two liver detox pathways, helping the liver break down and eliminate toxins more efficiently. It can reduce inflammation. Toxins create inflammation, and inflammation can slow down detox. The concentrated anti-inflammatory nutrients like polyphenols can help calm inflammation, creating a healthier internal environment for detox. Nutrients boost cellular detox. Detox happens inside your cells, and vitamins and minerals and enzymes that support cellular repair, communication, and energy are all critical for detoxification to work well. And nutrients support the gut and liver connection. A healthy gut equals a better detox. Nutrients support gut health by providing compounds that nourish the gut lining and support the gut microbiome. A healthy gut helps trap and eliminate toxins instead of letting them recirculate. So, if your mineral levels are low, your body gets stressed and has a hard time letting go of toxins. Restoring these reserves like potassium, magnesium, sodium, and calcium can actually help your body gradually and safely release heavy metals, which can otherwise get stored in tissues. Now, when your mineral levels are balanced, meaning you have enough of the good minerals, your body is less likely to hang on to toxic metals. So, for example, enough calcium can block lead from being absorbed, and zinc helps your body make proteins that bind to and remove heavy metals. Minerals are like preparing soldiers for battle. The body first needs to be equipped with the right nutrients, and then it can go through the ordeal of detoxification. Now, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to share one of my family's easy buttons for adding more of these important nutrients into the diet that my family loves and utilizes. I have three growing boys who don't always want to make the best food choices. So, this helps our family make sure we're getting a lot of the nutrients we need. So, what are some action steps here? Again, identify exposure, reduce exposure, support drainage pathways, support biotransformation and detoxification pathways. Testing your homes for toxins, testing your water, testing your whole home for mold, using air purifiers, choose non-toxic cleaning and personal care products, avoiding synthetic fragrances, parabens, phthalates, and other harmful chemicals is key. Make the personal care product switch to healthier options using the EWG or Think Dirty app. Filter your tap water. Eat organically produced foods. Avoid ultra processed foods and artificial additives. Reduce exposure to environmental pollutants by avoiding high traffic, industrial, or heavy polluted areas when possible. And stay informed about environmental toxins and make incremental changes to reduce daily exposures. Drink plenty of clean filtered water. Eat a diet rich in fiber. Include those cruciferous veggies. Support gut health with probiotics and fermented foods as long as you don't have histamine issues. If you have histamine issues, those fermented foods are not going to be your friends. Sweat regularly, use sauna, support the lymph system, support the liver using natural binders. I have my own personal favorite binders that I use to bind to these toxins to get them out of the body. We've got to support liver detoxification with nutrients and herbs that support the liver's optimal function. And we have to manage stress through meditation, deep breathing, and regular relaxation because chronic stress can impair detoxification processes. We must get sufficient sleep, which is essential for the body's natural repair and detoxification processes, and supporting that lymphatic drainage with practices like dry brushing, rebounding, and massage to encourage toxin movement out of tissues. And to me, it's really important to test and don't guess for the body. This is my personal total toxin burden from 2021. It's pretty bad, y'all. When I first saw this lab result, I was horrified because I eat clean. I don't drink out of plastic. I don't use, lumen deodorant, all those things for years. But I also know what my genetics are, and they pretty much are terrible. Um, Bless my little genetics heart. So I am not set up to detox well. So I have to be super, super proactive in all of the things to support the release of these toxins. Otherwise, they're just getting stored in my body. Now, some of these toxins, I truly have no idea where I got them, but I definitely lived in a big city for a while and I definitely drank city water for a while and I didn't filter my water, right? So once you know better, you do better, but you might not have always known better. And so for me, I think this is an accumulation of decades worth of exposure. And testing for toxins in the body is important because it provides a clear understanding of your personal toxic load. And when you understand what they are, you can do a much better job in getting them out of your body. And this is going to explain why here in a minute, because detox pathways matter. So this next little screenshot here is just an example of a few toxins, but look at that top row here, that the glutathione conjugation, glucuronidation, sulfation, amino acid conjugation, methylation, and acetylation. So those are your detox pathways. When we know what they are, what toxins you have, we can support them through supporting glutathione levels, supporting that glucuronidation by eliminating that high beta glucuronidase, supporting sulfation, right? Supporting protein digestion and amino acids to have the building blocks for amino acid conjugation, supporting your genes and supporting methylation, right? So when we know what toxins you have, we can target the right detox pathways. We can go faster safely. And think about it like this. If your house is flooding, you'd want to know where the water's coming from so you can direct it to the right drain, not just start mopping up randomly. So personalized detox equals smarter, safer, and faster healing. And I love, love, love the total toxin burden. I think it's one of my probably all-time favorite tests. And if you have any chronic symptoms whatsoever, you likely have a high toxic load. So this is a bundle of three different lab panels: mycotoxins, heavy metals, and environmental toxins. The lab kit comes to your home. It's a first morning urine sample, so it's non-invasive. If you're interested in learning more about this test, how it works, price points, all of that, if you want to chat about your personal health issues, and how I might be able to help, I will send out a link to schedule a free connection call with me, along with the replay. If you don't want to schedule a Zoom call with me, you can shoot me an email, at becca@holisticobsession.com, and I'd be happy to answer, any of those categorical questions, because I just want to make the world a better place. And that has to start with people feeling amazing in their bodies. Other helpful labs that I love and utilize are gut testing, like the GI map and organic acids, HTMA, that stands for hair tissue mineral analysis. And that looks at mineral balance, which is going to be huge for supporting detoxification of heavy metals, as well as genetics. Like I said, my genetics are terrible, but because I know what they are, I can honor my genetic blueprint with lifestyle and support all of my detox and drainage efforts in a more strategic level. So I utilize these labs as well as that total toxin burden. So if you're interested in learning more about these, schedule that call or shoot me an email. And I'm here to help. This may sound overwhelming or daunting to have this toxin conversation, but you're not alone. We can test the environment, we can test your body. We can have strategic and personalized plans of action, continuing support and retesting options. So please, please, please go to my website and book that free connection call. Now, really quick, I want to dive into a nutrient support easy button that my family loves, and that is called Juice Plus. So this is a broad spectrum of nutrients. They have pills you can swallow. They have gummies for the kids. That's what my 7-year-old loves. And why do we need these nutrients? Well, we went over that earlier. We need these nutrients, like phytonutrients, to detox our bodies. So these are plant chemicals that work at the cellular level to repair and protect our cells. And when these plants are combined with other plants, the synergy of these phytonutrients coming together actually increases the repair and protection that they're able to do together as opposed on their own. So to date, there are over 50 clinical published studies done on this actual product, and opposed to borrowed research on select ingredients found in our products. So we have like amazing, amazing research behind these products, and we actually have the most clinical research of any other nutraceuticals of like this kind in the world. It's also third-party tested and has an NSF seal. So this means we have independent third party that comes in several times a year to throughout the process, from the time the seed is planted to the time it's encapsulated, to ensure that what we say on the label is actually what's in the product, nothing more, nothing less. They're also testing for herbicides, pesticides, and bacteria, making sure the product is clean. So that NSF seal is better than organic. So organic is like the USDA organic doesn't hold a lot of clout in other countries, and this product is in a lot of other countries in the world. So think of the NSF seal as like a broad spectrum worldwide organic, or a proof that there's no like herbicides and pesticides used in the products. And the cool thing is, because I have three kids, is there's a free program for kids up to 20 years old. For every adult order of capsules, chewables, or superfood powder, a child can be added to that order, and that child will receive free Juice Plus gummies. For up to 20 years, which is amazing. And it starts at 4 years old. So all like this is just huge to me. Like I can take what I need and my kid gets it free. It's pretty cool. And then I personally love this product called Luminate. Oh my gosh, it is my favorite thing. I have it first thing in the morning and it really, really helps my brain get going. It's full of nootropics and amazing nutrients that I swear gets my brain functioning on a much better level. And it doesn't impact my stomach like coffee does. So this is something I personally am obsessed with. I've been using it for several months now, and if I like forget it when I'm traveling or something, I want to cry because I love it so much. If you're interested in any of this, you can contact my friend Debbie Swanson for questions via her phone number there, or you can scan that QR code to enroll in the free kids program. It's what my family uses and I love it. And so because I use it and love it, I like to share things that I use, trust, and love. And so now we get to have the fun of anybody who's on here. What questions do you have? So I'm going to stop that screen share. And I think Krista here is on with us. So Krista, do you have any questions, comments, rabbit trails you want to go into based on what you just got to check out for this presentation? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions, or if you would rather not be on the recording, you can drop a question into the chat and I can answer that that way. So feel free to unmute and chime in if that's anything you're interested in. Krista said in the chat, I do want to set up a call. Awesome. So just go to holisticobsession.com and there's buttons all over my website that says schedule a free connection call. That's the easiest way to do it. You'll just get the link to my calendar and you'll be able to set up that free call at a time that is convenient for you. Well, Krista, thank you so much for joining us. There was about, I think, 18 people registered for this, but I know it is a busy time of year prepping for back to school, being summer. And so I know a lot of people let me know that they were going to be watching the replay and not joining us live. But Krista, thank you so much for joining us live. And I hope that you got some value out of this. Krista, can you pop into the chat? Do you have like any aha? Like what was your biggest aha regarding, I'm not sure exactly when you popped in, but would be love to know like what was your favorite thing you learned during this presentation? The whole drainage funnel. Okay, cool. Yeah. See, every time I do this presentation, people are like, I didn't even know that was a thing. And so you hear people, or I hear people being like, hey, I'm going to do this detox. I'm like, please don't, don't start there. Start with drainage. Always, 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 always start with drainage. Krista says, didn't think about that before detox. Yeah. And so that's why detox can go really wrong for some people when they just go into a really intensive detox and their drainage funnels aren't working properly. And it can make people really sick, which we obviously don't want. So thank you so much, Krista, for joining in and set up that call. I would love to talk to you whenever that works out for you and your schedule. And if you're watching the replay and you want to set up that call with me, it's a free call. It's a 30-minute Zoom call. Go to holisticobsession.com and hit that schedule a free connection call button. And I look forward to talking to you. Thanks so much for joining.